Hey, welcome back. This is Dominic,
And Anne.
and this is second week of our next chapter.
That's right.
So we're going to do a little follow-up on what we talked about last week. For me, I think the big thing was being uncomfortable and putting myself in uncomfortable positions. As I stated last time, my big one is yoga. And I realized that I'm really terrible at yoga. And it gets me into a very uncomfortable position, but being uncomfortable means I'm learning and I'm growing. What about you?
Well, like you, I haven't done yoga for many years, so I also was uncomfortable, not only by the positions, and then because we came late to the class, we had to position ourselves right dead center. So typically when you're dead center, everybody's sort of like watching you from all angles. So that was really uncomfortable, knowing that I knew I couldn't do half the moves that our amazing yoga instructor, Fanny, performed and instructed for that day. But the other part of the yoga was doing a hike in 90-degree weather at Del Val in Livermore right after probably wasn't a good thing to do. So that
It's a
entire
great
hike
thing.
made me uncomfortable. We were able to accomplish about 4 miles in total, but I think the heat and then the narrow ledge was definitely uncomfortable.
So let's reiterate a couple things real quick because we like to highlight. You know, you're getting to know Dominic, and Dominic likes to highlight some of the obvious. We were late to yoga. When we say we, the reason behind being late really wouldn't apply to me. So the reason we're late is my darling wife is from the Filipino descent, and they tend to be late to everything.
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of haters.
So just for future reference, when we describe being late to something, it really defines Anne being late. And our hike, while it was a little warm outside, 90 degrees in the Bay Area, inland Bay Area, not coastal, inland Bay Area, 90 degrees. That's not bad for a summer temperature. That's pretty good. So it wasn't really bad. The terrain was a little rough, and our compadres, one of them had a little bit tough time navigating it. So it was tough. I don't know that I would classify it or define it as
Half dome time.
super uncomfortable, but it was a little out of the comfort zone for that day. The other lesson that we learned, well, I learned directly at a hiking trip was karma. If you don't believe in it, then you're really missing out, because I made the mistake of making fun of one of my very dear friends and almost instantaneously stepped off the sidewalk, twisted my ankle, and came right down on my knee. Pretty embarrassing, pretty uncomfortable, and a very learned moment of when you talk down to somebody or you're not saying things in love, God will teach you that you're going to learn from that pretty quickly. So that's my other lesson for the day.
Right, but if you know Dom, you are typically a clumsy person. So I think that is karma, but it's also because you're clumsy by nature.
I don't know if stepping off a curb is defined as clumsy, but that's fine.
But remember when we went to Mount Zion too? You
fell off of a huge rock that no one else climbed? I remember that.
Right.
So maybe attempting to do things that normal mortals won't do. Sometimes when you're a superhero, you're called on to do things that others won't do. And in this household, I tend to be the superhero. And so I'm like Superman. And what was Superman's girlfriend's name? Lois Lane. So we'll define you as Lois Lane. So future reference for this podcast, I'm going to be Superman and she's going to be Lois Lane. Okay. And what we'll do as a goal for all of this is a great one, and we can ask people's advice, or when we get somebody here to join us on this one day, what it would take for Anne to maybe someday be Wonder Woman. That could be fun. It could be really fun. And we could turn it into the next chapter role play thing.
But I do think Lois Lane also had characteristics and attributes as a Wonder Woman. She just may not have looked at it for face value, but she did carry those characteristics of strength and power and beauty.
I didn't say she was a bad person. I just said she wasn't a superhero like Superman.
Right. I would still define her as a Superman. But anyways, the thing too, taking the hike, I love spontaneity. Even we discussed it at our last podcast where we took to the trip to the Central Coast and it was all spontaneous. This was also spontaneous, and so we weren't prepared. I didn't have my hiking shoes on, probably didn't bring enough water. I forgot my sunglasses, which is always on me. And then I had to wear my visor, sort of like this hoopty style on the left, so the sun wouldn't penetrate my face and add more brown spots to my face. So I wasn't prepared for it as well. I do appreciate spontaneity, but I also think that you have to be prepared knowing that you're going to take a hike that's not fully shaded and we'll have a little bit of rough terrain. But it was fun nonetheless. It was a hike that we hadn't seen our friends. They just came back from Spain, which was awesome to celebrate a milestone birthday. And it was just so good to see them because we had not seen them or heard about their trip for a while. And we are also embarking on our family trip come October to Italy. So I'm really excited to share that adventure with the 5 of us, with no other families or couples that typically join our vacations. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of comes out.
Yeah, and that's important because normally we go with other people, so there's a bit of distraction from the core 5 that, as many people know that we all love our family and we like being around them, but after a while it can become a little painful, a bit of a struggle to have to be around the same people every day. And then to go back a little bit about the hike, and then we can move on from that one because I just wanted to touch base one more time on our hike and about, we started this conversation off with being uncomfortable and not getting a fully shaded spot or being able to wear your designer sunglasses. I don't know if it would just define as being uncomfortable in the classification that we're going for, but getting out there every day like you do is a great attribute. So I'm only poking fun because it's what I do. It's my shtick, whether it's accepted or not. It is me, and it's not going to change. But please understand that doesn't change the deep love and admiration I have for my partner. But I'm going to make fun of her just the same.
Yeah, and fortunately, I don't get too hard up on it because I'm used to it, and we do pick at each other from time to time. So that's natural. And if anybody knows this, that's sort of what we do. It's kind of like our comic relief. So what he says, don't take with a grain of salt, because there is kindness and love and all those things that come with being married for this many years that he also provides to my heart.
Wow, that was deep. That was really deep. Yep. So the next series is as Ann stated, we're getting ready to take off on a venture for 9 days to beautiful Italy. We've never been there, so it'll be new experience, guided tours. I think the bigger experience and all of that will be, like we said, going on a 9-day trip with just the 5 of us and everybody being an adult, like grown adult, responsible for yourself kind of a deal will be interesting. The kids will want to be responsible themselves, but want us to pay for everything. And mom will want them to be grown up, but want to tell them what to do. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a different kind of twist. And I'm hoping and praying that it goes really, really well, because I think all of us need it.
Yeah, and I don't know if Don mentioned, but he's Italian, so he's real excited to go back to his home country. Not that he was born there. He's actually from New Jersey. And so it'll be nice to see a country that we've been talking about for years. We typically travel probably to like Mexico, more or less, here and there. So this will be definitely a different adventure for us. We'll miss the family that we typically travel with, but we're really excited. So just for context that we want to share, this will also be an uncomfortable trip, as Dom said, but we decided to do a tour, a guided tour, because knowing how the dynamic of the 5 of us, it was better to be something on structure. Everyone gave us so many good recommendations and advice of just kind of winging it and doing it on our own. And of course, through social media and TikTok, there was obviously great influencers that provided recommendations. But we made a decision as a family for the first time, and not having any buffers or any other families with us, we wanted to have a bit more structure and someone waking us up at the crack of dawn and telling us to get in a bus and move from city to city. So that'll be extremely exciting.
Super exciting. And then a little bit more context to that. I did a DC trip with an 8th grade class here in the city of Dublin for, probably 5 or 6 years. And it was always guided tours. And I got to see parts of DC that most people will probably never see. And I went so often, and it was always somebody telling me where to go that I get to see all the best stuff. So going there and being able to be guided to the best spots and see the coolest things, I think is a great opportunity for all of us to learn and grow.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's our week. In a nutshell, we're going to try to do this every week, and then hopefully we can try to do some sort of recording when we're in Italy. It may be off of a cell phone, so bear with us on that. But otherwise, week 2 is in the books.
Yeah, and guys, we're just winging this. Just wanted to bring you on our journey, and hopefully it resonates with some of you out there. It's just been actually really fun to do and something to look forward to every week.
And if you don't like it, too bad. It's our thing. Peace.
Bye.